Hi everybody, Richie here. Now the Nexus 5 has been around for a few months now, but for me it still stands pretty high amongst the current batch of Android smartphones. Now that the HTC One M8 has been launched, I thought I'd check out both models head to head and see how they compare. So let's do that now. Okay, so let's start with the first impression, which is the look and feel. Now, the new HTC One has a fantastic build to it. It screams craftsmanship. So if I bring this up close, you can really see that it's got a beautiful unibody design and shape to it. At the risk of sounding a little bit smart-ass, it is the type of Android smartphone that Apple would make if they were ever to make one. You can really see that the premium quality, the materials, and the overall design just screams quality and craftsmanship. Now, the Nexus has gone down the plastic path, but it's got that really nice matte finish. And to be honest, I haven't had any scratches on this since day one that I've had it. I don't have a case on it. It's also longer and heavier than the Nexus 5, but a lot of that is to do with the front speakers, which we'll talk about in a little bit, to accommodate that sound that it's got. Now, still looking at this from the front, you can see here that they both have got a 5-inch screen. Well, the Nexus has got technically a 4.95, but really at 1080p, the pixels per inch are pretty similar and you really can't see much difference between them. They both come with a IPS screen, so the actual overall quality of the image is quite similar. Now let's talk about the other components of the screen. A lot of time you're watching YouTube, maybe wanting to share it. The worst thing about having most smartphones is that when you play it back through the internal speaker, it sounds pretty crap. This phone sounds amazing from the front firing speakers. It's incredible. So what you get overall from an entertainment point of view is an amazing experience watching YouTube videos and the like. So the fact that it's a bit heavier and a bit taller is easily compensated by the fact that you're getting an amazing audio experience from this, which is called boom sound. Now the next thing I want to talk about is battery. Now both of these come with an enclosed battery, and one of my pet hates right now is the Nexus 5 has got terrible battery life. I've heard that there is some issues with some applications keeping the camera live, even though you've actually closed the app, and that does drain the battery, and I'm hoping that they update that soon. On the other hand, you've got the new HTC One, which has also got an enclosed battery, but has a excellent power saving feature as well. And apparently, it's supposed to keep it going for up to 2 weeks on a single charge. Now, that's pretty incredible. All right, so let's talk storage. Now, the Nexus 5 has no micro SD card slot. You're reliant purely on the internal memory. But I would love to have a micro SD card slot on here. My main reason is because I'm a big Spotify user and I prefer to download in extreme quality all my playlists that I like to carry around with me rather than using the streaming service all the time. On the other hand, you've got the HTC One, which now comes with a micro SD card slot as opposed to the previous one, and it has a capacity up to 128 gigabytes. Okay, so let's then talk about the operating system. So what we have here is KitKat on both, 4.4.2. Obviously with the Nexus 5, it's the raw Android deal, unencumbered by any third-party software, and you also are guaranteed to get updates first and foremost on the Nexus lineup. One of the major differences between the two OSs is in the swipe from the left. Swipe from the left on the Nexus gives you Google Now, which I've been using quite a bit. Swiping in from the left on the HTC gives you Blink Feed, which I haven't used before, but I find myself to be quite a fan of it right away. You can integrate your social media, so your Google Plus feed, your Facebook, and also then choose different kinds of feeds based on your interests. So it is a bit different to Google Now, and you can still access Google Now through the standard swiping up from the bottom of the screen into the Google Now area. So you can do some pretty cool things here when it comes to the motion gestures. You can double tap it to wake it, or you can swipe in right to get your Blink feed. You can swipe up to just unlock the phone. You can also pick up the phone in landscape, and you press the volume button, which will actually wake the phone and take you straight into the camera app. And last but definitely not least are the cameras on both phones. So the Nexus 5 has a 1.2 megapixel camera on the front. The HTC has a 5 megapixel camera. You can definitely tell the difference when you're taking selfies and portrait type style photos. Secondly though, the big difference is the camera at the back panel. You've got a 4 megapixel ultra pixel camera with the extra depth sensing camera over here, which allows you to do all of those different editing tools and creativity that I've shown you on my previous video. But also because the 4 megapixel is an ultra pixel camera with much larger pixels, the light sensitivity is also much better. So you get better pictures in low light. And I'll give you an example of that right now. Here's a picture that I took in virtual candlelight with the Nexus. And here is the picture with the HTC. And as you can see, the HTC is much brighter and actually looks much more vivid, and that was taken at really low light. And the Nexus was actually also using the HDR setting as well. When it comes to video, they both shoot 1080p, and here's an example of 1080p on the Nexus and 1080p on the HTC One. So there you have it. There's a quick head-to-head between the Nexus 5 and the HTC One. Over in the Nexus corner, you've got a really good bang-for-buck raw Android product. And over here, you've got a premium quality build with front-firing speakers and the blink feed and the motion gestures that enhance the use of Android. What are your thoughts? Which one would you prefer? Let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to think about these two models. Press like if you enjoyed this segment, and subscribe if you'd like to get regular updates from myself. Have a great day. Until next time.